Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an interesting episode for you guys you definitely want to stick around for. So make sure you go and like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, for whatever reason, there's been like this concerted effort out there by some to try to knock Jordan off of his GOAT status. A lot of cats have been throwing rocks at the throne, man. And today we have another example with another former NBA player doing the same thing in David West. Excuse me. Now, for those of you who don't know, David West was a very, very skilled power forward during his playing days. He played early on. He played with the Indiana Pacers. He was an excellent stretch four, great mid-range shooter, great defender, very tough, very gritty guy. Later on, he went to go play with the Golden State Warriors, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he won a championship with them. But when he was playing with the Indiana Pacers, he was a part of a lot of classic battles in the Eastern Conference with the Miami Heat. When the Indiana Pacers were playing against the Miami Heat, he was playing with Roy Hibbert, a very young Paul George, and these guys going up against Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Mario Chalmers, and these guys, right? They had a lot of very entertaining playoff series, and I think a few of those years, some people thought that the Pacers would be able to knock off the Heat, but they were never able to topple the Miami Heat. They were always victorious in all of those matchups. So recently, he was on a show. I forgot the name of the show. Apologize for that. And he was asked to give his opinion on who he believes is the greatest player of all time. And the answer that he gave was LeBron James, right? That wasn't much of a shocker because there's some people out there that believe that LeBron James is the best player to ever play basketball. What was shocking, however, was the reasons he was giving as to why he believes that LeBron James is the greatest player of all time. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by a sponsor, Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we want to play what David West had to say here. It's quite lengthy, but I want you guys to really sit back and really take it all in. And then we're going to come back and react to it. So take a listen to what he had to say here.
I won't lie, I'm going with LeBron.
I'm going to say LeBron too. And like I said, only because I just think that
when he's done, he'll get his respect.
Yeah, I think he's just been too dominant for too long. And he's so physically we've never seen a guy who's been so physically imposing, that's not a big man.
Yeah.
LeBron is he's too big, strong, and fast for any era. And I think that when you talk about the era of basketball that we were in, and I've got tons of respect for, the old school 80s, 90s. But I think with what sports medicine has done and sports science has done to
evolution and all these things, it's
changed the game. So I just think people are being dishonest, and I'm gonna say this on your platform so people will finally understand. Like, it's not that hard to understand the difference in eras, right? So at my heaviest, when I was in Indiana, I was 273.
Okay.
Right? 273 pounds. Yeah. Roy was 295 pounds.
This is Roy Hibbert?
Roy Hibbert.
Okay.
Roy was anywhere from 295, 285 on a light day, 295 on a heavy day, right?
Yeah.
We had Danny Granger, who played the 3, and he was 245 pounds at the 3. Paul George was 220 at the 2. And whether it was Lance or if we had Lance at the 1, Lance is 230 pounds as a point guard. George Hill, 195, right? For as great as the Pistons were in the 90s, I'm not taking the Pistons with Isaiah and Lambeer. Those guys were great.
Yeah.
Lambeer was only 245 pounds.
Well, nah, that's fact.
You understand? Like Rick Mahone was 250.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On the Knicks with Anthony Mason and Oakley, those guys were super tough. Xavier McDaniel, Mace was 245. Patrick was 235.
Yeah.
Right? So physically, there was a time in the NBA where, like Memphis, for instance, when Memphis had Zebo and Gasol, you're talking about 275 at the power forward and center. You know, you're talking about you're talking about just bigger, stronger people. So it's not a matter of who's doing what. It's if you're playing shooting guard at 213 pounds, how can you deal with a 270 pound
Thank you.
wing?
Thank you said that.
That's all
Thank you said that. And then plus, I'll be trying to tell people, I'm like, you gotta understand, a shooting guard in today's game is like, the way the league's going, it's like 6'7", 6'8". You don't have 7-footers bringing the ball down. I mean, besides like Magic or whatever. You don't have no KD or Giannis could bring the ball down court.
Yeah, it would be, but just
you saw the Nuggets lineup.
Yeah,
that's where the game's going towards.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
I just think that we've got to just be honest. Like, sports science and sports medicine has changed the way that players literally, the physical nature of players. And so the reason why the NBA had to change the rules was because it was too easy. I said this a few weeks ago. It was too easy for guys like me to just put my hand out on somebody on the perimeter, and you couldn't get by me. If I could use one hand and keep my hand on your hip, that's why it wasn't an issue of a matchup issue. You didn't have switching problems. It was once the NBA said no hands out front. So now that opened up and you've got freedom of movement.
Yeah.
So even when I've heard guys say, well, with LeBron back in the day with hand checking, he would have shot 100 free throws. Yeah. He would have shot just as many free throws as Michael, if not more, because how do you stop somebody who naturally is 250 pounds? Like LeBron naturally is a 250 pound dude, right? He's had to come down to 250. Most of his career, he's played, 255, 260 plus.
So, you heard what he had to say. From what I was able to understand, it seems to me that the basis of his argument was based on playing weight. He spent a lot of time, and that soundbite is actually longer. We didn't play the entire thing, but he spent a lot of time talking about playing weight. He also spoke a little bit about sports science and the role that plays in things, and why he believes it contributes to LeBron's overall case for being the greatest player to ever play basketball in his eyes. But I think his overall argument was, he was basically saying, given LeBron James' physical attributes, LeBron could have played in any single era. That's basically what I think he was saying, and I can see that, right? I can see that, but it doesn't make him better than Michael Jordan whatsoever. That argument doesn't prove that he's better than Michael Jordan. It provides zero proof whatsoever, in my opinion. He also spoke about Dennis Rodman playing at about 210 pounds. Well, Dennis Rodman, and I think from 1996 to 1998, was listed at 103 kilograms, which is about 227 pounds in his playing days. But that's really irrelevant, right? That's irrelevant, because the point he was making is irrelevant, because players like Dennis Rodman, to give you an example, was able to guard heavier guys than him. He was able to guard players like Karl Malone. He was able to guard guys like Shaq, right? Shaq is a legitimate 7-footer. He must have been around close to 300 pounds, and Dennis Rodman was holding his own because he had a lot of he had a lot of natural strength. But again, what does that have to do with LeBron James being better than Jordan? This weight argument, this size argument, what does that have to do? Like, what is it? What does it mean, right? Why is it? This is the thing. This is the next thing we're going to be using is the playing weight, of these guys. That's one thing. And here's when this argument, I believe, falls flat. He says that LeBron, one of the reasons he has him as the GOAT is because of how dominant he has been. Well, the question is, if LeBron has been as dominant as he says he is, and other people say LeBron has been, why hasn't he then been able to win more championships? If he's as dominant as you say he is, why has he not been able to dominate to the level, or at least to the extent of winning more championships? There have been so many other players that have feasted in the LeBron James era. Kobe Bryant won 5 championships. Tim Duncan won 5 championships. LeBron himself won 4 championships. Stephen Curry has won 4. Stephen Curry is a direct contemporary of LeBron. Like, I mean, these guys have met in the final. Like, he's won just as many championships. So if you're going to say LeBron has been as dominant, we can say Stephen Curry has been as dominant as that, because he's won as many championships. Kawhi Leonard has won 2 championships. Kevin Durant has won 2 championships. So I don't understand the dominance he's talking about. If he's talking about dominance from an individual level, meaning being able to put up great numbers for a very long time, then that's one thing. But again, that doesn't make you better than Jordan, because Jordan was able to put up the best numbers of anybody ever, but he was still able to win. He was still able to win. So even when we're talking about dominance over a period of time, Jordan still wins that argument by a mile. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's close to be, it hurts a lot of people's feelings when I say this, but I just don't think this debate is close. I just don't think it is that close at all. And I think that, I think some guys really like LeBron, which is totally fine. I think they really like him. And because of that, they want him to be the GOAT, even if there's no evidence to support their feelings. And that's the problem. I get that you like him, but you gotta come up with a concrete reason. And these reasons are just not good enough, in my opinion. So these are my thoughts and opinions. And what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about what David West had to say? And what do you think about what I had to say? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.